19th, 2022. We will call to order the meeting for the Statesboro City Council. We will have our invocation and pledge of allegiance by Councilmember Phil Boyd.
Thank you, Mayor. If you all would, please bow your head. Dear Lord, I want to thank you for today, and more importantly, I want to thank you for the rain. You know, in the world we live in today, that with all the hustle and bustle, sometimes it's good to have a rainy day to help us slow down, to help us reflect, and help us think about the future. Be with us today as we make the decisions for the city of Statesboro and the surrounding communities that will affect us not only today, but also into the future. Be with us as we work together to make those decisions. Be with the staff as they execute those decisions, and be with the citizens as they interact with the city staff moving forward. Thank you again for today, and amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll move down to agenda item 3, which is the presentation of award to retiring Battalion Chief William Neal Lee for his 36 years of service to the city of Statesboro. Before we call everyone up, we want to read a statement in regards to Battalion Chief. Battalion Chief Neal Lee began his career with the Statesboro Fire Department in July of 1986. Over his 36 years of service, Chief Lee has held multiple positions within the fire department, including driver engineer, company officer, shift commander, as well as administrative battalion chief, where he has been serving since 2014. Chief Lee obtained numerous certifications over his long career and served as an adjunct instructor with the Georgia State Fire Academy, where he was able to share his knowledge and experience with young aspiring firefighters from across the state. He was awarded the Statesboro Fire Department's Firefighter of the Year in 1996 for dedicated and outstanding service, and has received several other awards and recognitions over his fire service career. Chief Lee's desire and passion to help others within the Statesboro and Bullitt County community is sincerely appreciated, and we wish him the very best as he begins a new chapter in his life. Chief, if you will.
Chief, or battalion chief?
Yeah, both chiefs. Yeah, this is the time we got 3 chiefs in the room. If you will. We want to share the award that we want to, Chief, on behalf.
Mayor, you come down?
Yeah, I come to the
Al, Mayor's coming down.
All right.
And Chief, you want to bring everybody up?
You want all of it?
Yes.
Everybody? Wait, you mean, you want all the
Yeah, we're
council?
going to do them and then the council.
Okay. Don't worry about it.
Alright, y'all front in.
Y'all gotta go first.
Barr, really?
They look good, huh?
Get real close. Maybe a little higher.
All right, Chief and Chief, stay. Everybody else come. Family, come up.
John, come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump out of this one, but yeah, I have your picture. I'll get back in there with the council.
That podium was out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we got to-
Get the podium
Are
out.
we taking
need
the
to move?
Yeah,
Are we,
we can move it if you want.
yeah.
Yeah, it blocked
Was it in
everything
the-
before.
We don't.
We can roll them.
We're doing our best impersonation language. So.
I didn't want to push you.
No,
Wanted
no
it from
problem,
me.
no problem.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm gonna have to get the guys back up then.
Yeah. Okay.
Get the guys back up.
You good?
Yep.
All right, family. Fellas, come back. We need you to come back up. Cheers. You got it? Yeah. Bob?
Just grab one right here.
Okay. Council? All right, council?
Smile.
Get one nice and close.
All right, congratulations.
Well, they always makes me look skinny, so I hope I remove that.
I got you.
That's not where he turned to make me come.
Police officers take their gun home, they get to take like a hose home or something. Turn out gear maybe.
Absolutely. I do want to take a point of privilege, and I know this is a testament of the kind of people that work to serve the people of this community. So, Chief, we want to thank you. 36 years is a long time. And you dedicated yourself to a career that we feel that we know that this city needs, because in the time of danger, you chose a career where you stepped up. So thank you so much. 36 years, we can't say thank you enough, but know that this organization, its people have always spoken highly of you, have always had much respect for you, and you deserve every bit of it. God bless you. God bless your entire family.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Yes.
And I have
thoroughly enjoyed my years of service with the city of Statesboro.
Yes.
I've grown a lot of friends, a lot of cohorts working together, good people.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
God bless you. The salt of the earth, man. All right, we'll move down to agenda item B. Yeah. Hate seeing that. We move down to agenda item B. Well, we're gonna skip agenda item B. That person is not here right now, so we'll go to agenda item 4, public comments. Leah, do we have any public comments?
No, Mayor.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 5, which is consideration of a motion to approve the consent agenda. A is the approval of the minutes from our June 21st, 2022 work session and council minutes. And then item B is consideration of a grant of license for the package sale of distilled spirits, beer and wine to FTJ Enterprises Incorporated, DBA Statesboro Liquors located at 860 Buckhead Drive. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 6, consideration of a motion to approve a contract with Safe Built in the not to exceed amount of $100,000 for building inspection, plan review, and permitting services. Mr. Penny, if you would.
Mayor, members of the council, I think it was the last meeting we brought this item to you. We have had vacancies in our building permit section, and for about 6 months now, we've advertised, and we have need for building inspections, for plan review, and so our Director of Planning and Development had experience in working with a company, and Safe Built is the company that she had experience in working with. And we presented a proposal to you at the last work session with the contract not to exceed $100,000 for those inspection services. And the thought is that we need to provide these services for the community. However, this is a very difficult time to be trying to hire folks. And so we've had difficulty filling the code official's position, finding people with the certifications that are needed. And so what we propose and recommend to the council is to enter into this contract with Safe Built to provide those services. The last time we pulled this item we tabled this item and deferred it to this meeting. Since that time, we've met with some developers and builders in the community who had some concerns about us outsourcing this service. And as we shared with them, and as I share with you, obviously we'd love to have a building code official that lives in Statesboro. We'd love to have a building inspector that lives in Statesboro. But at this point, we just don't have that. And so what we're asking of you is to approve this contract with Safe Built. And we do have folks from Safe Built in the audience tonight, and I'll say this in front of them. The thought is that this is not forever. This provides us a temporary solution during the most difficult time in our community and in this country for labor. And so we do recommend to you that you approve this contract so we can provide these building inspection services in Statesboro. And I will also say, despite whether we have a contractor or whether we have employees that actually work for the city of Statesboro, one of our requirements is that we provide professional service just as number one, and then we provide good customer service. And so regardless of whether it's a contractor or whether it's a city employee, those are our expectations. And so we make the commitment to the development community, regardless of whether it's a contractor or a city employee, that it is unacceptable not to provide those excellent services. So with that, Mayor, we do recommend this contract to you for approval.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion on behalf of council?
I have a few questions. I don't see how this is a good thing for citizens of Statesboro. I do have a couple questions. A year ago, how many building inspectors did we have?
We had two.
We had two.
We had a code official,
Code official.
and then we had a building inspector.
Where'd they go?
And the code official left and went to work for the county.
For the county.
Right.
Mhm. And can't argue with that.
Right.
They offered him a lot more money. How about the other one?
The other one became, is our facilities manager.
Greg?
He was promoted to.
He was promoted to
Yes.
facilities manager.
Yes.
And, you made me feel better that you said this was hopefully not a permanent thing. It just does not seem, I don't know, farming out stuff, this is not one that I would agree on. If we could do it, that $100,000, is that for a year?
Not to exceed. Yes.
Not to exceed a year. So
Yes.
we're gonna have to come back again next year.
Mhm.
Is there any way that you could, assure me that we are gonna try and get another building inspection department? I really think it's very important that it comes out of this building here and not from somewhere else.
Well, again, I would say that we would love to hire a building inspector. And I won't say and I will say this. We did have someone that applied since we've been dealing with this. And in order to be able to hire that person, we'd have to pay them more than this contract.
I see that.
Yeah, we would have to pay them more than this contract. And so, again, this is a temporary, and when I say temporary, a 12-month process. Before the end of this contract, we will see if we can recruit a building inspector. We do have a 90-day out with this contract. And it's not for not performing well, but if for any reason we want to terminate the contract, we just have to give them a 90-day
No
notice.
excuse.
And so what I would simply say, I do think that in doing business with the city, we ought to be upfront with the contractors. And so we have a 12-month contract, and 6 months into the contract, I would recommend that we advertise again to fill those two positions. And if we can, we will. Otherwise, I have to come back and recommend this to you again. Hopefully, the labor market will change. But right now, we're just in a labor market that is very difficult.
So we've got buildings that need inspecting, and we don't have anybody to inspect.
Well, right now, Greg is double, he's doing what he can, but he was promoted to our facilities manager. And so to try to keep things going, he is helping us out where he can, and the county has agreed to help us out as well. But this would provide the service. If someone needs an inspection, as long as they get that request in by 4 o'clock, they're guaranteed an inspection the next day. And we will also get software that comes along with it, so we can electronically submit plans and get plans reviewed, so there's some efficiencies there. But again, it's a temporary measure, but we'd like to at least try it.
Any further discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
All right, any opposed?
Yeah.
All right, let the record show that agenda item 6 has passed, with 1 nay vote and 3 affirmed. We'll move down to agenda item 7, which is a public hearing in consideration of a motion to approve application RZ 22-06-01, Ed W. Curl Jr. request a zoning map amendment from the 4R HOC, high density residential and highway oriented commercial zoning districts to the HOC zoning district in order to establish a vehicle repair shop on 3.2 acres of property located at 30 Rucker Lane. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. If you will, please give us some insight.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. The applicant requests a zoning map amendment from the HOC R4 highway-oriented commercial high-density residential zoning districts to the HOC highway-oriented commercial zoning district to allow for an expanded use of the property as an automobile repair shop. Currently, the site consists of a vacant retail warehouse built in the year 2000. Tax office records do not show any licenses for the conducting of business at this location within the last 5 years. And you can see the parcel outlined in red along Rucker Lane. The future land use map shows this to be in an area designated as activity centers / regional centers. The zoning map shows that the site is divided pretty much between the HOC and the R4 residential district. The subject property is shown on the top left. The property to the east is on the bottom right. The property to the south is on the top left, and the property to the north showing the apartments is on the bottom right. Staff recommends approval of RZ 22-06-01. If this petition is approved by the mayor and city council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. 1, approval of the zoning map amendment does not grant the site and/or building plan approval as submitted. Project will be required to meet all city ordinances and applicable building codes. 2, the applicant must provide appropriate screening to obscure operations in accordance with Article 22, Section 2205.1 of the Statesboro zoning ordinance, which requires opaque screening. At the special call meeting of the Planning Commission on July 12, 2022, the Commission recommended approval of RZ 22-06-01 and associated conditions with a 3-0 vote. Thank you, sir. That's my presentation.
Thank you. All right, is there anyone here to speak for the request?
Thank you, City Council. We presented this last week. We've already presented the site plans for the city to go over, and we will be following everything in detail to what y'all would like and what the planning council would like with that. Also, future development, we wanted to do the storage units and a car wash up there because of all the kids and students at Georgia Southern that live up there on top of the hill, as we call it. So we would appreciate any consideration with that. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
What's your name? What's your name?
Yeah, ma'am?
What's your name?
Well, I'm sorry, Leslie Belcher.
Okay, thank you.
All right, is there anyone here to speak against the request? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, council discussion. All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve with recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, good. All right, we move down to agenda item 8, public hearing, consideration of a motion to approve application RZ 22-06-02 LNS Acquisition LLC request a zoning map amendment from the R10, R8, single-family residential to the PUD zoning district in order to develop a single-family detached subdivision on 34.48 acres at 1263 SNS Railroad Bed. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Kathy, if you would.
Thank you, sir. The applicant requests a zoning map amendment from the R8/R10 single-family residential zoning district to the PUD, Plain Unit Development Zoning District, in order to develop a 144-unit single-family detached subdivision. Currently, the site is an undeveloped cotton field adjacent to the SNS Railroad Bed Road Trail. The intent of the applicant is to develop this property to include 144 lots of a minimum of 4,275 square feet, which is lower than the general minimum lot size allowed in the R6 single-family residential zoning district. Development of the roadways are proposed as public streets and would therefore be brought in as 60-foot rights-of-way. Although the plan shows one primary entrance, it is recommended that due to the proposed density, the applicant be required to adhere to the recommendations of a full second access as recommended by the fire chief, Appendix B, Section 4.3, subsection 4 of the subdivision ordinance, which outlines that the number and location and design of fire apparatus access roads shall be determined by the fire chief or his or her designee. And you can see the site outlined here along SNS Railroad Bed Road. The future land use map shows this to be in an area designated as development urban neighborhood area. And the zoning map shows that the site is divided between the R8 and the R10 zoning districts. The subject property is shown at the top left. The property to the east is shown at the bottom right. Property to the south is shown at the top left, and the property to the north is shown at the bottom right. And this shows a site plan of the proposed development. Staff recommends approval of RZ 22-06-02. If this petition is approved by the Marion City Council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. 1, approval of the zoning map amendment does not grant site and/or building plan approval as submitted. Project will be required to meet all city ordinances and applicable zoning codes. Applicable building codes. 2, prior to construction commencement on any proposed lot, a subdivision plat, as well as the bylaws and restrictive covenants, shall be reviewed and approved by staff in addition to any other applicable City of Statesboro subdivision regulations. 3, the applicant must install a landscape buffer on SNS Railroad Bed Road of Silverthorne to ensure appropriate screening between residents and those utilizing the trail. 4, a second means of ingress/egress must be installed in the area shown as gravel at the specifications of a public right-of-way to ensure sufficient traffic patterns and emergency operations on the site. And 5, all dead-end streets as shown on the submitted site plan shall be converted to either a cul-de-sac or hammerhead configuration at a dimension acceptable to the Department of Public Works. At the special call meeting of the Planning Commission on July 12, 2022, the Commission recommended approval of RZ 22-0602 and associated conditions on a 3-0 vote. That's my presentation.
Thank you. All right, is there anyone here to speak for the request?
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and Council. My name is Hayden Rollins with Hussey Gay Bell, and I'm here on behalf of the owners of the property. The owners of the property are okay with all the conditions except for condition number 4, which would require a second public access. I believe the reason was stated that the second access was part of a fire requirement. The International Fire Code gives that responsibility to the delegated fire official. I spoke to the fire prevention chief, and he was okay with the access being a paved private access with a Knox box on it, which I believe is a good solution. A development of 144 lots does not require a second access per the ordinance that I'm aware of. Another reason is that this is a county road with a county trail system. You could add another potential for pedestrian conflicts, and I would just like the council to consider removing that condition to the approval.
All right, thank you. Anyone here to speak against the request? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we'll open it up for council discussion.
Which recommendation did y'all not want?
No, condition number 4.
Number 4?
Kathy, you want to give us any insight? into
Yes,
that?
yes, I'd like to very much. We did discuss this condition at the Planning Commission. If you can turn back to the site plan, if you could. On the, On the bottom right, there is a little driveway that signifies the second means of egress. It is proposed to be a 20-foot wide driveway, gravelled.
It would be paved.
It would be paved, okay, with a lockbox on it. We felt that because of the density of this development, 144 units, that it really needed a second means of egress. And regardless of the fire code, we felt that because it's a PUD, we are allowed to put conditions on this. And we felt that that second driveway would be important for the residents, if we're all leaving at the same time in the morning, to have only one means of egress. It would be very difficult for them. So because of that, we agreed at the Planning Commission, and I would hope you would agree as well, that we should have a 60-foot right-of-way means of egress.
What are the size of these lots?
4,000.
4,000?
That's right. They're very small. Let me go back to my notes.
That's okay. If 4,000, 5,000, that's fine. I've got a serious question about planned urban development and a PUD and the way we are using these in the city. A PUD is supposed to be a creative method to take a property that maybe has some unusual characteristics and put some combination of things like maybe higher density residential, single family homes, commercial, as well as some amenities. A planned urban development, though, in this case, looks to me that we're just trying to cram as many tiny little houses on as many tiny little lots as we can. There's no creativity. There's no mixed-use development. There's no sidewalks. There's terrible egress, and it's just not the kind of thing that a PUD is supposed to be used for. A PUD is not supposed to be used for to get around design standards. So I'm concerned why this has even got out of planning and zoning, because this is not anything like a PUD is supposed to look like. I'm sorry to be very, firm and direct about this, but this is not what a PUD is supposed to be used for. It's not supposed to be used to cram in as much as we can and to escape our regulations. I mean, it's 4,600, those are really small lots. And you're gonna cram them in with one road. I could go on for quite some time about how many problems there are with this thing, but my biggest problem is, how did it even get up this far without a greater scrutiny? Because I'm not sure why we don't have sidewalks, we don't have connectivity, we don't have this, I'm concerned.
So Mayor and Kathy and staff will have to help me. I would say, and Mr. William, I don't necessarily disagree with anything that you said as far as the use of PUD. I believe PUD, since I've been here, the PUD has been used quite a bit to make things fit in this community. And you set the policy. And if you say that this is not acceptable, I believe that's the right thing to say. And if council is not comfortable with it, then I would simply say it can either go back to planning board and to staff to look at it. But PUDs have been used over the years in order to make things fit. And it doesn't necessarily make it good planning, but it's been what has been accepted in this community, and it didn't just start in the last 2 years. And so I hear you.
No, but it's getting progressively
Yeah,
worse.
it is. And so, but that is the importance of redoing the zoning ordinance and getting that up. And just like, that's part of the reason we're bringing the townhouse ordinance, because it's not in the ordinance. And so we've been using PUD to make things fit. And I think those are outstanding observations, and as manager and on behalf of the staff, we hear you. I do need to say on behalf of the fire chief, I know there's a concern to put 144 homes in the development and to have only one entrance into that development is a concern. But I hear you on the PUD, and the staff will make note, but it also provides us direction and guidance for the development community. Because again, the development community has become very comfortable in bringing plans to the staff and to the planning board and to the council, fitting it in with the PUD.
Well, doesn't it say in our ordinances that the PUD is not to be used to get around our rules, is to be creative and innovative? And I mean, I just don't see any creative or innovative in this particular development.
Council, we're gonna yield some time to Councilwoman Barr.
Yes, she's trying to
Yeah, Councilwoman Barr, if you will.
Thank you, Mayor. I share some of Councilmember Boyens' concerns, but I'd like to ask some questions of the engineer who's there to represent owners. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name.
It's Hayden
Yes,
Rollins
thank you.
with
Rebecca.
Hussey Gay Bell.
Yes, tell me your name again.
Hayden Rollins with Hussey Gay Bell.
Thank you. I wasn't sure I heard that the first time. Thank you, Mr. Rollins. So first, thank you for coming to us with a plan to build 140 homes, because as you well know, we need more homes for the residents of Statesboro and Bullock County. So I appreciate your interest in doing that. And my understanding, I don't know all the history like Mr. Boyer does about what HUD should be used for, but I know we need more houses in Statesboro. If we can reduce what you're coming to us for is a variance, because you're trying to make it smaller lots for houses. Tell me a little bit about what's planned with these houses, what size houses, and what price range would be proposed?
Okay, so I can speak on as far as lot sizes. I won't be able to speak on price points much because that's more from a builder standpoint. As far as lot sizes, really what we're doing with the property is trying to make it to where we can market and build homes on it. To get that density that we need to make the property worth developing, there's quite a bit of infrastructure costs. They're kind of special on this piece of property because it's at the outer limits of what gravity sewer can serve. So there's a good chance that a lift station will be needed on this property, which is something that the developers considered. So in order to make numbers work, that's what the required density was.
Okay, so the houses would be, do you know about what size houses would be proposed to there?
That would be around 2,000 square feet.
Okay.
On 9,000 square foot?
2,000 square feet.
But 9,000 square foot,
They're
5,000 square foot.
They're about 4,500 square feet, and what these are meant to be are more patio style lots. They're not meant to be mansions. They are very common around our region. They're not as common in the city of Statesboro, of course. But as y'all know, the market is very difficult right now when it comes to building, and in order to make homes affordable, the majority of Americans, they have to do different things like create these patio lots, which are very appealing to a lot of folks.
Thank you. Yeah, that makes sense to me. And I know in order to make them affordable and to make the builder make money and people be able to buy them, you have some compromises have to be made. However, I don't think we want to just put in, I think we want to also ensure that folks who live there have a quality of life once they buy and move in there. And so the smaller spaces are a concern to me, but I do think we need to include more amenities. We definitely need the safety thing staff has talked about the egress, about having another way to get in. And I'm also with Mr. Boyer about we would really like these new developments to have sidewalks, to have green space. And so what we're talking about in other areas in the city is 5% of the total development, a minimum of 5% be developed to those amenities that make it a good place to live for the families who move in there. So I would want it to be a condition, or I want to go back to staff and see what we could work out and come back to us with. But those are the things that would make it more palatable for me.
I would like to respond on, as far as the sidewalks, there are sidewalks planned for this development, both sides of the road. They will connect to the trail, which I believe is a big amenity that a lot of places don't have in the city of Statesboro, having that direct access to the trail. I would like to kind of circle back on that fourth condition, one being that traffic as far as ingress and egress getting out for the people that live in the neighborhood. Typically in a traffic and engineering scenario, as far as peak trips, those happen once in the morning, once in the afternoon. You can kind of put a 1 per unit to that number, which would pretty much be 2 cars per minute. And I believe that that's a pretty acceptable scenario for one entrance and one exit.
I'm sorry, I'm going to question you on that. You said 1 car
Yes.
per unit in
At
the morning?
At the peak hour. That's
And
what,
in the
in a
evening.
typical traffic engineer, how they go about doing their
Okay.
estimates, it would be 1 trip per unit at the peak hour. So that could be any time between, say, 8 and 9, say 1 car leaving,
Well,
1
these
car.
are designed to be family homes though, yes?
Correct, yes.
So that's going to be 2 people leaving.
Yeah,
in
but
that
you'd
hour.
also have some scenario, this is like an average, so you'd also have scenarios where maybe,
And you're
both
at the
of them
low
don't-
end of your average range is what I'm trying to say.
excuse me?
You're at the low end of your average. I mean, if you're saying, I don't want to argue the numbers, but what you're saying is 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening, that's about 8 trips a day on average for a family. But an active family is going to have 15 to
Of
20
course.
trips a day.
But
And then it's going to be a lot of traffic.
How roads are designed is through the peak. So your peaks drive
Right.
your intersections. And at the peak hour, typically it's 1 per unit that you use as a kind of your driving factor.
All right, Chief.
Yes. So just a couple of things. First, I wanted to point, Chief Hutchins has briefed me, and we've had several conversations. The International Fire Code requires anything over 30 units to have that second access. The code, the way that the code is written, it says all weather, which that's up for interpretation. We do appreciate them working with us, and I do think they agreed that paving it would be the optimal. The restricted access, while it will meet code and satisfy our requirements, my concern is we have 144 units with 1 entrance. If we went and had a structure fire on the first unit coming in and we laid in, that hose blocks. I can't get any more apparatus to that unit, right? So that's why I need that one. Second thing is, if we have to do a mass evacuation, I'm gonna have 144 units coming out of one entrance. I understand his concerns as well, as far as cutting across the median and all those kind of things, but the intent of the code is to allow us to mitigate whatever emergencies occurring and allows us the flexibility of getting our apparatus, resources, and staff in there to do that. So I just wanted to put that out there for your consideration. You know, as it sits for the fire code, it meets, but the spirit, the number, there are some concerns just on general public safety and the spirit of the code, I guess, is kind of what I'm trying to get to. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Any further discussion by council? All right, seeing that there's no further conversation with council, is there a motion in regards to this matter?
First, I'll say absolutely, we do need 2 entrances and exits, two points of egress and ingress. So,
Sorry, John, I can't hear you.
I'm sorry, yes, we do need 2 entrances and exits. I do believe and that's for safety, completely for safety. We did it with, I can't remember the name of the neighborhood over, you know what I'm talking about, on Country Club Road. That's just a lot of houses. And I can only imagine you're trying to get our big truck in there. So I'm gonna make a motion, to approve with the standing staff and planning commission recommendation, which will include number 4. So I make the motion.
All right. Is there a second to that motion?
So John is moving that we accept it with the staff conditions, including the one that they're contesting,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
nothing added about green space.
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay.
All right. Is there a second to that motion? All right, seeing that there is no second to that motion, is there a follow-up motion in regards to this matter?
If the other commissioners think it's worthwhile, I'm happy to move that we approve it if we can add the recommendations of staff about the extra exit entrance, and also that they dedicate, I mean, we've got to redo it anyway because of the hammerheads and the cul-de-sacs and all that sort of thing. If they'll come up with 5% of the property dedicated to some amenities, some common use and green space. I mean, I don't know if the, Mr. Wallace can respond to that, whether that's helpful, or whether he'd rather just go back and work with staff.
Okay. All right, we do have a motion that's on the floor. Is there a second to that motion?
All right, restate the motion, please?
Councilwoman Barr, restate your motion.
Yes, thank you. That we approve it with all the conditions staff has proposed, as well as the addition of requiring that they dedicate 5% of the acreage there, 5% of the space to, common amenities, to amenities space for amenities. And Kathy can supply what those are from the other area where we're doing that.
Okay. All right, so since we do have a motion on the floor, we want to provide an opportunity for council to add any discussion in regards to the motion that's on the floor.
I would suggest that rather vague motion is going to be difficult.
I'm sorry,
I'm sorry, I would suggest that rather vague motion is maybe not appropriate for a development type. I mean, you say 5%, what 5% is that? Does that include the water, the wetland space that's back there? I mean, I don't know, I gotta see a drawing before I would feel comfortable voting for something like that.
Okay. And so Councilwoman Barr, the concerns that the councilman has laid out revolves in and around specificity of the motion. Would you like to withdraw that motion and offer a motion to allow the engineer to go back and work with staff in regards to this matter?
If we just don't act on the motion, the request for the variance, then that's what they have to do, right? Come back to us?
Yeah, we can treat this as a no vote.
That's fine with me, yes.
Okay, all right. And so, with that being said, I have to ask for a vote. If the council chooses to do a no vote, allow them to go back.
May I say something?
Go ahead.
I believe, Cain is not here, but I believe that.
He's on.
Yeah, if you do a no vote, then you have to wait 6 months before the applicant can
We don't
come
want to do
back.
that.
Okay, then we'll have to
If
come
you
back 6
defer
months.
without prejudice, then he can come back at any time.
Say that again?
If you undertake a no vote tonight, then the applicant cannot come back for 6 months.
Okay,
However, if you defer without prejudice, it allows the applicant to come back at any time.
okay.
I think what they meant by no vote is like not taking a vote, like no action.
Yeah, no action,
Oh,
yes.
no
yeah.
action.
Yeah,
Okay,
no
as long as
action,
no action,
yeah.
but if
Yeah, no
there's
action should
vote,
allow him,
Yeah.
and if Cain is there, if we do no action, that will allow him to go back?
That is correct.
Okay, so it's gonna be no action.
No action,
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
All right, very good.
Say that again?
I wanted to know, are you willing to go back to the drawing board and figure something out, or is it just?
Sure, no, we can definitely do that. we would have to go through planning and zoning as well, or is this just through council?
No, you have to go back to planning and zoning.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Green.
I just want to ask a question, in particular, Mr. Boyer and the council. The concern that you raised about the PUD, the use of PUD, you want us to go back and sit down and have some conversations, and I don't know that the zoning rewrite will clear that up, but we can sit down to talk through that process.
Sure. Oh, okay, so the purpose of a PUD, from what I understand from my experience, is to create a development such as like Plant Riverside. That's a planned urban development where, normal regulations wouldn't allow you to do the creative things that they did, including putting a museum, riverfront space. I realize Statesboro does not have the same amenity as the riverfront of Savannah, but our planned urban developments are supposed to have that kind of creativity where, okay, if you're gonna do some small houses, that's cool, but you're gonna have a really neat configuration, or you're gonna do some small houses in the front and some bigger houses in the back, not just cram as much stuff as we can in there. All of them I've seen over the past 2 or 3 years, that's what we're getting. And so if I were to ask staff, or if I was to give direction or request that anyway, it would be, hey, we need to go back and redefine what a PUD is for, so our developers quit using them in this fashion, because that's not what it's for. It's not to get past density requirements. It's not to get past these requirements. It's to be creative and innovative, and that's not what I'm seeing.
Okay, I got you.
All right. All right. And so with that being said, at this point right now, as I understand it, the council would like to cast a no vote on this. So is there?
No action. Not a no vote.
When I'm saying no vote, I'm gonna ask for a vote. You guys are gonna remain silent, and then we'll move on to the next thing. All right, is there a motion to approve? All right, seeing that there is no action by council, we'll move on to the next agenda item. All right, we'll move down to agenda item 9, public hearing, consideration of a motion to approve application of the CBD 22-06-03 First Baptist Church request plan approval for a portion of the campus located at 108 North Main Street. Is there a motion to open the public hearing? All right, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Kathy, if you'll give us some insight.
Yes, sir. The applicant requests plan approval for the architectural plan submitted for the installation of a canopy at 108 North Main Street. As this property is within the central business district, it is required by Article 7, Section 803, that the development receive a recommendation from City Council to affirm that the plans keep in mind the integrity of the downtown. These plans as submitted to meet all necessary staff review requirements, and permits may be issued upon acceptance by the City Council. So because they're making an exterior change in the downtown, it must come before the City Council for your review and approval. So this is the site of the First Baptist Church. Woodrow Avenue is shown on there. It's hard to read, but that is where the canopy is located. The address of the church is on North Main, but the actual canopy is on Woodrow Avenue, which you'll see. The future land use map shows this to be divided between the downtown district and commercial redevelopment area number 3. The zoning map shows this to be a mix of different zones, includes the CBD, an office zone, and the R4 residential district. So the property in the top left basically is the subject property, and those doorways, which are on Woodrow Avenue, are where the porte-cochere, the proposed porte-cochere, will be located. The photo on the bottom right shows property to the east. The photo on the top left shows property to the north, and the bottom right photo shows property to the west. And Essentially, these are the plans for the porca share. If we move on to the next slide, you'll see at the top there, that really shows the two doorways with the porca share over it. And staff does recommend approval of CBD 22-06-03. If this petition is approved by the mayor and city council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. 1, all exterior building materials utilized in the construction must meet the requirements as outlined in Article 30, Section 3008 of the Statesboro zoning ordinance. 2, exterior paint colors must be drawn from the range of colors already existing in the district or as outlined by the historic color pattern governed by the DSDA. And 3, any signage proposed in the newly constructed area must be approved as per the signage requirements outlined in Article 15, Section 1509, unless a mural is proposed. At the special called meeting of the Planning Commission on July 12, 2022, the Commission recommended approval of CBD 22-06-03 and associated conditions with a 3-0 vote. That is my presentation. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Karen. Is there anyone here to speak for the request?
Kevin Palmer with DPR Architecture. This will be easier than the last one, but this canopy was actually designed for that building originally and was in the original plans that were approved. And I actually just pulled it off of that. In fact, the footing's already in place, the steel's already in place for the canopy. They just decided not to do it at that time. So this is exactly what was originally intended to go there. And it goes right up to the property line. It's within the setback, but that whole building is up to the property line. So there's already a variance for that. So that's about it.
Are y'all okay with all the recommendations?
I am.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here to speak against the request? All right, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, all right, any discussion by council? All right, seeing that is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. We'll move down to agenda item 10, public hearing and consideration of a motion to approve ordinance 2022-03, an ordinance amending Appendix A of the Statesboro Code of Ordinance to include definitions and standards relating to townhome development.
Thank you, sir. As recommended by this body, city staff has worked with TSW.
Are we going to open the public hearing?
Oh, I am so sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, Captain, me and you were on the same page.
I'm
Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, me and Kathy was reading each other minds. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. As recommended by this body, city staff has worked with TSW consultants to develop minimum standards for townhomes. These recommendations include the creation of a new R2 townhouse residential zoning district, new and revised definitions regarding townhomes, and minimum standards to be applied to all townhouse developments throughout the municipality, whether located independently or within a townhouse subdivision. These standards remove sections of the ordinance referencing the Zoning Board of Appeals and renumber sections of the existing R3 medium-density residential zoning district. Staff does recommend approval of ordinance amendment Article 6-A R2 Townhouse Residential District and Townhouse Dwelling Standards, and including said townhouse standards within the plan unit development with amendments, which we'll talk about shortly. At the special call meeting of the Planning Commission on July 12, 2022, the Commission recommended approval of Ordinance Amendment Article 6-A R2 Townhouse Residential District and Townhouse Dwelling Standards, and including said townhouse standards within the Plan Unit Development PUD zoning district on a 3-0 vote. Now, during the Planning Commission meeting, we did have discussion, and the result of that was that we have worked on developing 3 proposed amendments to your copy of the proposed townhouse zoning ordinance, and I'd like to review those with you if I could at this
Yes,
time.
ma'am.
And you should have them in front of you as well, so that it's hard to read sometimes from the PowerPoint, so I wanted you to be able to follow along. I also want to mention that we had a lot of technical input from Joey Maxwell, our local engineer, who has worked on a lot of townhome developments in the Atlanta area, and he was very helpful in terms of pointing out some issues in here, some of which caused these amendments to happen. So the first one deals with under open space, under section 2506A, open space subsection C. There was a discussion about creating homeowner associations, and by virtue of creating them, to what extent could we control the covenants under the homeowner association? And we did review that with the attorney from TSW as well as with our own in-house attorney. And we felt that we couldn't be too overreaching in terms of the requirements for HOAs, that we basically had to protect our rights to an extent. So what we did is we added the sentences that you see in red, and let me read that to you, that it says, any association shall annually assess each property owner an amount sufficient to maintain and replace infrastructure as necessary. The association or equivalent shall be responsible for all repair, maintenance, operation, and management of private infrastructure, including roads, stormwater infrastructure, shared wastewater infrastructure, and required open space as applicable. So the idea is to ensure that the association was assessing enough income to be able to maintain these properties. So that is the amendment number one. The amendment number two, there was a discussion in terms of our requirement for street trees, where we require them to be spaced no more than 50 feet on center from other trees within the planting strip along the sidewalk. And there was a discussion with Mr. Maxwell as well as with Steve Hotchkiss, our Public Utilities Director, in terms of how we were going to fit the utilities in as well as the street tree, and that there wasn't enough flexibility to allow both of those infrastructure improvements to be located. So what we did is we came up with language that amends section 2508-A, landscaping standards subsection B. It says in red here, you'll see the amendment, street trees shall be planted in the right-of-way between the curb and the property line. And that we felt allowed enough room for both the trees, which we want clearly, and also to allow for the access for the utilities. And the third amendment was that, and this is under section 2509-A, building standard subsection A. It was not clear how many townhome units could be placed and attached contiguously. So we came up with clarification. So as it now reads clearly, no more than 6 townhouse dwelling units may be in a contiguous attached row. So that means you can have a building with 6 units, and then you must have another building. So those were the amendments that we came up with, and I'm certainly willing to answer any questions in relation to them. But we did recommend approval as did the Planning Commission.
All right. Thank you, Ken. All right, Mr. Bennett.
And Mayor, we, council will need to take action on this, but we also, because it is an ordinance, it does require 2 readings unless the board decides to waive the second reading. And so we would ask that you consider waiving that second reading so that the ordinance could be fully enacted. And you sent 2 developments back to the planning board for consideration at that August the 2nd meeting. However, if you don't want to waive it, again, it would be back on your agenda on August the 2nd, and then that evening, I guess they could still review it under the adopted ordinance at that point. So we'd ask you to consider that.
Okay, thank you. All right. Is there anyone here to speak for this request? Is there anyone here to speak against? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Right.
All right, we'd like to open it up for council discussion.
So these are just, you had the presentation, which was a little more,
In depth.
right, so I'm sorry I missed that. Why just these and not a more,
You want the whole
or,
presentation?
no, I'm just wondering why these specific changes only? There are a lot more things in the book, but these are three very specific. Why these three specific ones?
They
Do
came
they
up,
pertain to the other two developments, is that what it is?
Just, go ahead, Kathy.
yeah, they came up, part of the discussion, Mr. Maxwell actually brought them up in terms of concerns that he had upon his review of the ordinance. There were no other comments that came up, so we addressed these three, and the rest of the ordinance remains intact.
Okay. I'm not sure that answered my question. There were other things in here in the presentation you gave it for.
Yes.
That I noticed that were not included in the
Oh, no,
modifications to the
there's a whole
ordinance
ordinance that's,
Yeah.
being written.
that we have.
Yeah, this,
Yes.
at 4 o'clock, we had, the work session covered the townhome ordinance. And so what she's bringing forward now are the amended pieces.
Just the amended pieces.
Yes,
that's
just
right.
the amended,
And
yes.
you have the whole ordinance.
Okay, so this was just a review of the ordinance,
Right.
there weren't other changes in there.
That's
No, no,
correct.
no, no,
I just
no.
wanted to make sure
My
that you,
mistake, I was under the impression.
you knew that what was originally given to you had these three changes to it, and so that you have the full package now.
Because we have the whole ordinance.
And we've got, we do have Caleb, he's on the Zoom, so if you have any technical questions, he's more than happy to respond.
Nope, I'm good.
Thank you. All right, any further discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve, without the second reading by council?
I'm not in favor of that, Mayor,
Okay,
so I will not vote to waive the rules.
okay. All right. Any further discussion?
You're asking to waive the
second reading.
second reading?
Mhm.
Okay, y'all are cool with that? Ms. Field?
Yes,
You're good with
I
that.
think.
I wanna make sure
It has to,
you-
yeah, it has to be.
Yeah,
unanimous.
Mr. Penny explained that it's,
Okay.
that it's
Yeah.
doable, yes.
Yeah.
And if it's not.
Yes.
Yeah, if it's not unanimous, then we'll just have to move on. It has to be unanimous. Yeah.
After the second.
So, and that's fine, we'll just, yeah,
Okay.
all right, good deal. And so so are we good for passing something for the second reading? So there's a motion to approve for the
Yes.
second reading? All right,
I'll
second.
make that motion.
All
Second.
right, second. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, I'm having trouble hearing, and I'm not sure what we're voting on.
We just vote, we had a discussion in regards to passing the ordinance without a second reading. Since we did not have a unanimous vote, we're gonna go ahead and carry it out as usual and have the second reading. The second reading at the next meeting.
On August 2nd.
So we're talking about passing, approving this, and continuing to have the second reading as we normally do.
Yes,
So the vote is to approve it as presented, but not to waive the second reading.
exactly.
Okay, yes, thank you.
All right. Okay, all right, so we move down to agenda item 11, which is a public hearing and consideration of a motion to approve application for an alcohol license in accordance with the City of Statesboro Alcohol Ordinance, Section 6-13A. 11A is Bubba D's doing business as Butts and Brews at 454 South of Main Street, Statesboro, Georgia, 30458, license type restaurant. 11B is Wings Over Statesboro Incorporated, DBA Wing Wild Wing Cafe, 52 Aspen Heights Drive, Statesboro, Georgia, 30458, license type restaurant. Is there a motion to open the public hearing for items 11A and B?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, where did Kathy go?
She just took off.
She did, didn't she? All right, we're gonna assume that she has no problem with this.
Good
She has no problem. All right, Chief. Okay, good deal. Cain?
No issues, Mayor.
All right. Is there anyone here to speak for the request? Ma'am? Ma'am?
No issue.
Ma'am. Oh, okay, you walk out. Okay, good. All right. Anyone here to speak against the request? All right, good deal. All right, with that being said, we'll ask for a motion to close the hearing.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, any council discussion? All right, seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve 11A and 11B?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 12, which is a public hearing in consideration of a motion to approve application for alcohol license in accordance with the City of Statesboro Alcohol Ordinance Section 6-13A, Family Dollar Stores of Georgia LLC, DBA Family Dollar number 30436, 20 Veterans Plaza, Statesboro, Georgia 30458, license type package sales of beer and wine only. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Chief?
No issues.
Chief?
No issues, Mayor.
Kane?
No issues, Mayor.
Okay. Is there anyone here to speak for the request? Anyone here to speak against the request? All right, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So move.
Second.
Okay, all right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, any council discussion? Seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move down to agenda item 3, consideration of a motion to approve the retail development, small business recruitment and retention proposal from Georgia Southern University. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, if you remember, we've been talking about the need to have a small business recruiter. We had a presentation at a council work session, and we received a proposal from the Business Innovations Group to provide that service under contract. I do recommend approval of that contract to you. The cost of the contract over a period of 3 years is $343,000, $343,750. The first year cost will be about $93,750. The intent is to hire an employee that would work for the Business Innovations Group, and the thought is that that person would be hired by October of this year. And again, we do recommend approval of the small business proposal from Georgia Southern University.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? I'm seeing that there is none. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move down to agenda item 14. Motion to award a contract for branding and marketing services for the city of Statesboro to North Star in the amount not to exceed $79,000 plus expenses which are not to exceed $5,000. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, at the last work session, we had a presentation on branding services from North Star. As I shared with you, we received 9 proposals. We started back in December of last year. North Star was, in my mind, in our committee's mind, the best firm to provide this branding service for the city of Statesboro. I will just simply say that I think we're at an important time in the history of Statesboro, and with all the future development that is coming to this region. And we need to be able to market ourselves, and knowing what our brand is really important. And for that reason, I do recommend that you award a contract and approve a contract with North Star in the amount of the $79,000 plus the additional expenses. And I'll be glad to answer any questions if I can.
Okay. All right, any discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
Mr. Mayor,
Okay. Yes.
I'm sorry, you're a little too quick for me. I just wanted to make a comment. I was impressed with the representative who made the presentation last month. I think they can do a real good job for us in the city. I have mixed motives about it though, because I'm thinking about what all we can afford to continue to do when we're trying so hard not to raise taxes, not have to raise the millage rate and use the reserve fund. So I just have mixed feelings about it. I was impressed with it. I'm not willing to go, I'm not concerned enough to go against staff recommendations. I'm okay with our passing it, but I just want to note that I'm trying to be conscious of not spending money we don't have to when we're straining our citizens to be able to provide all the services we need to. That's it.
Shari, if I could comment on your comment. You know, I think it might be appropriate maybe to delay this until after we decide whether or not we're gonna raise taxes. And when we decide exactly how much we're gonna raise taxes. Because, you know, costs are going up. We lost a couple of lost a couple of trash trucks, which are, we had a $500,000 cost to the Averett Center. All of a sudden, things are getting really expensive, so I was gonna recommend that we push it off until after we vote on the tax increase.
Okay. Any further discussion by council?
I agree with Councilman Boyle.
Okay. All right. So is there a motion to table?
There's a motion on the floor right now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We did have a motion to approve. Is there a second? All right. Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to table this matter until the second meeting in September?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 15. Consideration of a motion to approve the purchase of one complete set, which includes cutters, spreaders, and ram of TNT battery extraction tool in the amount of $29,390 from Victory Steel LLC.
Mayor, members of the council, if you remember at the last meeting, you approved the purchase of a set of 3 hydraulic extrication. And so what this is sometimes we do have situations where accidents occur and they're off the road. And so what this provides is a brand new battery operated extrication tool. And so we do recommend approval of the purchase of the $29,390 from Victory Steel.
Okay. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
May I use this?
No.
All right, we move down to agenda item 16, consideration of a motion to approve change order 3 with McGlendon Enterprise Incorporated in the amount of $7,153.58 for the Blue Mile Streetscape Improvement Project. Mr. Penny.
Yeah, Mayor, we had, we recommend this change order with McClendon, and this is for, we have some stormwater work that needs to be done, and we had to find another way to get it done. And so for this $7,000, we can get it taken care of, and we recommend approval of the change order.
Okay. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move down to agenda item 17, other business from city council. Is there any other business from city council?
I'd like to make 2 comments, please, Mayor.
Okay.
As we're all aware, we're back in moderate spread. We're back to masks being encouraged but not required. I just want to point out that we do have a pop-up clinic set up at the library this Saturday. I think it's something like 9 to 1. So anybody 5 and up can get a booster or get a first vaccine at the library this Saturday. on Saturday, August the 6th, not the Saturday, it's a week and a half out. And then the second thing, on a happier note, that I want to comment, and Mr. Kenny may give more details about this, but I want to give a shout out to city staff and to the KSBB folks, especially Amanda Clements, and to our tree board about the new tree walk that's available now along, it's part of the Willie McTell Trail. But anybody can go and walk the trail now and identify over 30 different kinds of trees along there. So it's a new fun educational element that I'm real proud of city staff making happen in conjunction with tree board. So I invite folks to take advantage of that.
All right, that is good news. All right, anything else from our council? All right, seeing that there is none, we'll go to city manager's comments.
Mayor, members of the council, the only thing I want to just call to your attention, and Ms. Barr, since you did it, I won't repeat that again, but just want to remind everyone, we are planning on doing a port tour on the 29th of this month. And so we plan to leave here probably about 12:30, 12:45 for a 2 o'clock tour. And so if you haven't let me know, please let me know if you're going to go with us.
Can I ask just a question? I've already been on this tour twice.
So you
No, but my brother went on a tour with it, and he got to go up on top of one of those,
You're not gonna be able to drive.
You
or
just-
No, I don't want to drive it, I just want to go up on top of
No,
it.
You just
can't
gotta show
drive.
A little similar,
What's
right?
that? Yeah, I want to
We're
go
talking
top
about
of it.
I'm not gonna be able to help you with that one.
Sign a waiver.
Sign
for you.
I've been here 3 years and I've not done the tour, and so we are taking some staff with us, and so,
Okay. All right,
well, that's all I was gonna mention.
okay, good. All right.
Mr. Penn.
Oh, yeah.
So the planning commission has had somebody resign their position because they are not in the area they have been employed. And so there is a vacancy for the planning commission. Their next meeting is August the 2nd at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So we'll have to have some recommendations or nominations brought forward from y'all. And then we can make an appointment at the next meeting.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 19, public comments. We have Ms. Amy Bellinger listed.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
everybody in the chamber. I have a few public comments I would like to make. And I'm not the only one, but I guess the others just said here about coming up here and what's going on. Mr. King, I don't know you, but I called you once to explain to you the trucks that you keep buying and putting these city workers in. Feel like they can block the street when you got other people coming to your house on your driveway. I called to talk to you about it, you never returned my call. Now, Lewis Cancer Center was giving me a ride back and forth to Savannah for 5 days a week. The miniature city boys seen them trucks over at my house. They blocked the road. And Mr. Lewis's driver said to me, "But what's wrong with them?" I was so embarrassed, I didn't know what to do. I kind of shoved it off. I said, well, I'll just talk to somebody about it. He thought it might have been because they had Lewis Cancer Center on the side, and y'all know where Lewis Cancer Center is, so he's got a white, completely white van. Did the same thing to that one. Now, I could have pressed charges on them because that was my only way of getting back and forth to my doctor's appointments. And they were nice enough to go 5 miles out of their way to pick me up. After that, they didn't act too much like they wanted to do it because I guess they didn't want to get in no trouble. And you got talking about paying the employers more. Get out and ride around sometimes. You got 5 men on top of the ground, 2 men in the hole. You got 5 supervisors supervising 2 people. These are the things that I see. But yet, you could not return my call when I asked you to tell those city trucks to get out of the road and stay out of the road when somebody's picking me up, take me to the doctor. And Mr. Mayor, I don't know nothing about you, not that much. I did for a while, but I see you're not the person that I used to know. Now, I called and talked to you once. I told you I needed for you to say something to Ms. Shapes about some of the things that she was saying. You told me, said, well, let me talk to her. 2 months went by, you never called me. She called me as a marriage counsel. Honey, I hadn't been married in 35 years, and when I was married, you know what? My husband had 2 wives and 3 girlfriends, so I don't need no marriage counsel.
Me?
Yeah, you called me.
I'm
You called my
Councilmember
number.
Matt.
You said, the mayor gave it to you. You called my number and called me Brenda. I said, I'm not Brenda. Now, how would I have your?
I did call you. I didn't call you about marriage counseling, though. I called you. I was returning your call, and you told me not to call your phone number. I did not know who that was. I'm so sorry.
Well, that's
I remember
That's
that.
exactly who you called.
I remember that conversation. You left a message on the phone, and it said Brenda. I thought it was Brenda. Maybe I mistake the name, but when I called you, you told me don't call your phone no more. I didn't know that was you. I apologize. But I didn't call you about marriage counseling.
I don't need a marriage counselor, because you know what? If I would want to be interested in people marriages and stuff, I would be a counselor myself. And they would have to put domestic shelter here for men. Now, you need there for women, you got to put one in for men, because I'm just that rough. I tend to my own business. I don't mess with nobody else's business. And I told y'all once before, whatever I do in this city, it is not trying to set up nothing for this city. I don't want to set up nothing for this city. Y'all think every time I call y'all, it's about setting up something. It's about your trucks and stuff that's harassing people that's helping me. I am a cancer patient. And those people was giving me rides back and forth. I took chemotherapy for 5 weeks, radiation for 7 weeks. And I'm trying to get to the doctor, and you got your trucks out there with your name on the side of them harassing me, and my tax money is paying for the trucks. And that park y'all redid down there talking about a garden. It ain't been that long since you remodeled that park down there. I bet you in the 20 years it was down there, I ain't seen 10 people in the park. Now you done tore up that and put some more money down there. If you want to give somebody some money, give Mr. Buckhead over there some money to pay his people more so he can keep better police officers here. Y'all just wasting money for nothing. And all these city trucks all over everywhere, all to the grocery stores, all to the restaurant. These people should not be allowed to take these trucks and run up and down the road and tear them up like they do. Y'all shouldn't have to keep just buying trucks every 2 or 3 months. Every time I'm up here, we got to get a truck for $27,000. You don't go nowhere right in the city. Why you tear up so many trucks? Why you tear up so many trucks? Because you misunderstand what people in this city is all about. Y'all come from somewhere else, and you don't understand. Them people across town don't care about that little garden y'all put over there. Look at all that money you put in it. All that blue moon thing down there. What you put in there. I mean, y'all are not doing it. You got homeless people right here sleeping in laundromats, but nobody does nothing about it. She's lying. Mrs. Buckhead might remember that I called his station here about 2 weeks ago. He looked like he'd been living there for a while. All this trash and paper. You better get this man out of here, because I'm up in here and I don't want no coal. You better get him out of here, because if I catch the coal, I'm going to sue the city. Because I done told the city about these some people sleeping here, yonder, and there. But you don't listen to me. You want to put your money somewhere else and tantalize me whenever you think I'm setting up for the city. I wasn't setting up for this city. I was trying to get back and forth to my doctor's appointments when y'all had them city trucks over there harassing me. Evidently, Mr. Penny must have known about it, because he wouldn't return my call when I did call to complain about it. You never called me back when I called to complain about something. You never called me back. So now, if you think you communicated with me, you're a long way from doing anything about it. So now I'm not setting up anything for the city. What I do for myself, because my doctor tells me with cancer, don't sit down and don't lay down. Say, keep moving. Find something to do. I don't get no moral support from my family because of things that's been said about me up here in the city council trying to talk. I talk whenever I want to talk. God give me this mouth. If he didn't say, cut it off when you over there, cut it on when you over there. He gave it to me to talk. Anytime I got ready to talk, and I will talk. I've heard several things that's been said that somebody has told my family about me up here. I come up here and talk. I've been coming up here and talk for 50 years. And I'm going to come up here and talk 50 more if I live that long. But if I don't live that long, maybe some. I got somebody that said they didn't take over when I tried. Say, because I got a big mouth, just like you got. I'll take over and come up here and say what you have to say. I don't care. I told y'all once before, I don't care if you don't like me. But you know what? I found that the world is so tore the families up so much. You have to have little outside people. I got 3 little outside girls that give me more support since I've been sick. When I was where my knee was bad, I would go to their house, they come to the car and walk me all the way in the house. If I there, I stumble or anything, you all right, but you don't get that from your family no more, and you don't get that from the public anymore. You have to have some child that their parents are teaching them and teaching them properly. All y'all know the person that I'm talking about is teaching these kids and teaching them right. Nobody really cared that much about him, I don't think, but I tell you what, he got 3 kids that he's naturally teaching them in the right way. And so some of y'all might go talk to him and let y'all see how to teach children. Because he can teach you something to teach children with.
Thank you, Ms. Amy.
We'll move down to agenda item 21, consideration of a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.